We've all been to meetings before. You've all been to seminars before, I'm sure. And content is good, but content is only excellent if we go ahead and use it. So that's my encouragement to you. So that said, let's go ahead and have Rich Harshaw come on up and start to run through information today. Please welcome my partner and good friend, CEO of Y2 Marketing, Mr. Rich Harshaw.
A lot of times people come out to these kinds of events and they come with an attitude that says, if I could just get the proverbial one idea. And I think what you're going to find here at this workshop over the next 2 days is not one idea, but really a whole different way of looking at the way that you approach your marketing. We're going to make some fine distinctions for you that are going to help you understand how to approach the marketplace maybe a little bit differently. Some good ideas on a lot of general ideas and a lot of specific ideas. So we're going to have a lot of things happen in the next 2 days. We're going to do some seminar where I'm going to be teaching you some foundational material. We're going to have some workshop where you're going to, like it said on the website, roll up the sleeves and start getting to work on this stuff. Guys, all of the marketing principles that we're going to talk about today are as old as the human race. And in fact, that's what makes them so powerful, is that everything we're going to talk about is built upon human nature. We're going to talk about getting inside John Smith's brain, John Smith being your prospective clients. One of the sayings that will be predominant throughout the 2-day event is, if you want to know why John Smith buys what John Smith buys, you've got to see the world through John Smith's eyes. And my observation over the last 12 years of doing this now is that the vast majority of business owners, while they're very good at doing what they do and providing the services or products that they provide, they don't really know how to communicate what John Smith wants in the form of marketing, in the form of advertising. Sales, they're usually quite a bit better, but when it comes to marketing and advertising, really don't know how to take what they know about their customers, what they understand about John Smith, and communicate it through. And that's what we're going to talk about. So some age-old principles here. Okay, a quote to get us started by Peter Drucker. Because of the nature of business, business has just 2 functions and only 2. You've probably heard this quote before. Marketing and innovation. Those 2 things make money. Everything else is a cost. Marketing makes the cash register ring, so to speak. And so what we want to talk about, obviously, is marketing, but we also want to talk about innovation to a certain extent. Innovation is an interesting topic. There's been a lot of books written about it, and it's sort of this interesting topic that nobody really seems to have a formula for. People talk about it a lot. I can give you a real easy definition of what innovation should be, and it goes like this. What does your customer want? If they could have anything they wanted, what would it be? Okay, now, what do you do? Now, the difference between what you do and what they want, guess what we call that? Innovation. It's pretty much that easy. So the key is finding out what does John Smith want. We'll talk about that as we go through this. Now, let's say that I could teach you how to rewrite your ad and your marketing system using the MYM system. MYM, of course, short for Monopolize Your Marketplace. We're not talking about anything weird or creative, nothing strange. Again, remember the exercise with the numbers, a formula, okay, guys? Who feels like you're super duper creative? 1, 2, 3. Okay. The rest of you are out of luck because marketing is all about creativity. So I'm going to teach you for the next 2 days how to be creative. No. You can't teach creativity because you either have it or you don't, I guess. I don't really know. I don't feel like I'm super creative. What we want to do is learn how to learn the formula so we can walk through the steps and we can understand and we can get good results. Again, we talk about the content of the ad. What is in that advertisement that makes them call? Is it possible to get an average quality of caller that is better? This is one thing that came up already. It comes up all the time, especially in contractors. I don't like the yellow pages because, what did you call it, a competitive call? A competitive lead. And people say that people that are calling out of the yellow pages only want to know the lowest price. Anybody ever received a call before, whatever your particular flavor of business is, and the person called up and said, how much is it, as one of the first things that came out of their mouth? Does that ever happen to you? Now, I'm going to say this as gingerly, as nicely, I'm putting on the kid gloves, and I'm going to just be as pleasant as I can when I say that if that happens, it's your fault. You say, well, no, it's not my fault. It's the caller's fault because they're calling and asking for the lowest price. And the answer to that is no. It is absolutely controllable by the way that you communicate that with them in the marketing. Now, how is that possible that you sell at a higher than average price? That doesn't make sense because everybody wants the lowest price, as referenced by the Yellow Pages callers who say, hey, what's the lowest price? So how is it possible that you actually sell at a higher price when everybody wants the lowest price? Value. And here's the answer to that question, okay? If we took each of you aside individually and we did some testing on you and I spent some time with you and we evaluated your live performance in a sales scenario, I'll bet we would find a high propensity of you who are excellent at selling. In other words, if you had a prospect, you sat down with them, and you had the opportunity to explain to them what was included in value, right? Is price one of the parts of the equation of value? It's one of the variables. It's one of many variables. And if you had a chance to sit down with them and sell them, most of you do a pretty good job of saying, hey, here's why it's worth it to pay more. Does anybody ever have competitors that have bids that are actually quite a bit lower than yours and you still get the job? This happens all the time. The key is, guys, what we want to do is take some of the types of things that you say in a sales environment, because you're good in a sales environment, and what we want to do is show you how to transfer these things out to the front end. I'm going to give you another quote right now. It comes later in the slides, but you might want to jot this down. It's critical. It's by the ancient Chinese war person, Lao Tzu, and it goes like this: victory goes to the one with superior forces at the point of contact. Victory goes to the one with superior forces at the point of contact. Now, let me ask you this. For you, in your business, what are the points of contact? Well, one of the points of contact is the sales environment. I'm sitting down face-to-face with a prospect. This is a very important point of contact. If I've got superior forces, in other words, superior sales ability, we're going to have a positive result. I may be able to sell him at a higher margin, at a higher price, based on helping him understand what the value equation is, correct? Question, what other points of contact do you have? Victory goes to the one with superior forces at the point of contact. Well, you've got lots of different points of contact, don't you? I'll just name a few. Some will apply to your company, others won't. If it doesn't apply to your particular company, don't worry about it. It applies to somebody in the room. Here's one we talked about already, Yellow Pages. Here's another one. Telemarketing. How about an advertisement? How about radius mailers? How about yard signs? How about what it says on your truck? What about the way your receptionist answers the phone? These are all points of contact. And victory goes to the one with superior forces at those points of contact. Folks, we're going to talk today about having superior forces, and we're going to talk about making sure that we're fortified at all the points of contact. Because what if your strongest forces resided at the sales call? What if your strongest forces resided in the sales call? What's going to happen? You may never have the opportunity to have the sales call. Because why? No leads. Or fewer leads, or less qualified leads. Has anybody ever been in a situation, let's just be real honest, guys, when the lead quantity goes down for whatever reason, okay? Forget the reason. Let's just say they go down. What happens to you as a business owner? You start to get desperate. This is just being honest, guys. I think as business people, either we've all been there or we've seen others who've been there, and you start to sell maybe at lower margins because you want the deal. You start to maybe do things you wouldn't normally do. What we want to do is have a healthy lead flow, have healthy quantity of leads. On this scenario, average quality of the caller is better, and we can make the quality